Welcome to Bear Maple, where every story carries a little wonder and a whole lot of heart. Today's story is about something we all carry, even if we don't see it. A quiet load that grows heavier when no one notices. So sit back, take a breath, and journey with us into a tale of feelings, friendship, and finding the courage to open up. This is Lara and the Invisible Backpack. Lara sat at the edge of her bed, arms wrapped around her knees, staring at the socks she was supposed to put on. Her room was quiet except for the faint ticking of the wall clock and the distant sound of her mom frying eggs downstairs. Usually, she'd be halfway through brushing her teeth by now, but today felt different, heavier. Her chest felt tight, like something was sitting on it. Her legs felt like they were filled with sand. She wasn't sad exactly, at least not the kind of sad that made her cry. But she wasn't excited for the day either. "Lara, sweetheart, time for school," her mom called cheerily. Lara nodded to no one and pulled her backpack over her shoulders. As she walked out the door, she carried more than notebooks and pencils. She just didn't know it yet. At school, everything looked normal. Kids were chatting, lockers were slamming, and the bell echoed its usual chime. But Lara felt like she was walking underwater. Every step took effort, like her shoes were glued to the floor. And it wasn't her backpack making her feel this way, at least, not the one with her school supplies. What Lara didn't realize was that she was wearing another backpack, one that no one could see, one that wasn't filled with crayons or lunchboxes, but with feelings. Inside it were the things she never said out loud, like the sting of being left out yesterday, or the time her little brother ruined her drawing, or how much she missed her grandma who used to braid her hair. Each feeling added weight, quietly, slowly, invisibly, and by the time she reached her classroom, that backpack was bursting. Throughout the day, more feelings tumbled into the invisible backpack. In math, Lara raised her hand to answer a question, but the teacher picked someone else. Her cheeks turned warm. Thunk. Another brick. At lunch, the chair next to her was taken by a classmate who didn't even say hi. Plop. Another pebble of disappointment. In art class, her favorite color marker was dried out, and she didn't get a turn with the glitter pens. Tap. Another drop. And no one really noticed. Not her friends. Not even herself. The backpack was growing heavier, but still invisible to everyone else. By the end of the school day, her shoulders were sore, her steps were slow, and her smile had completely vanished. After the last bell, Lara was heading to her cubby when someone accidentally bumped her. She lost her balance, tripped on her untied shoelace, and landed hard on the floor. Gasps came from nearby students, but Lara didn't move right away. Her knees stung, and her palms were red from the fall. But what hurt more was everything else. Tears welled up in her eyes, too many to stop. She curled her arms around her legs and buried her face in her arms. It wasn't about falling. It was about everything she'd been carrying. That's when a calm, kind voice reached her ears. Sometimes, backpacks get too heavy, even the invisible ones. Lara looked up through her tears and saw Ms. Miller, her homeroom teacher. She wasn't holding a hall pass or clipboard, just a tissue and a soft expression. Ms. Miller knelt down beside her, not rushing, not lecturing. "What do you mean?" Lara sniffed, wiping her nose. Ms. Miller offered her the tissue and sat down slowly. "I mean, feelings weigh us down too. Sometimes more than books." Lara blinked at her, confused. "You might not see it," Ms. Miller continued, "but when we don't talk about our feelings, we carry them with us, day after day, until suddenly, even a little bump can feel like the end of the world." That idea settled quietly in Lara's heart. She didn't know what to say, but for the first time all day, she felt like someone really saw her. Ms. Miller stayed there with her and said, "Let's stand here for a minute." Lara nodded, and the two of them stood on the edge of the hallway, away from the buzz of after-school chatter. "Imagine your feelings are like little items you've packed without realizing," Ms. Miller said, tracing a shape in the air like she was opening a zipper. Lara closed her eyes. "Like, what kind of items?" "Well," Ms. Miller smiled, "maybe a brick of anger from when someone teased you, a marble of guilt from forgetting to feed your fish, a feather of joy you didn't get to share, A puddle of sadness that hasn't dried up yet. Lara blinked. She did feel all of those things. Angry, guilty, happy, sad. But she had never thought of them like things she carried. No wonder she felt so tired. Ms. Miller leaned in. When we name them, we start to unpack them. They stood quietly, and Lara started to speak. I think I was mad when my friends didn't wait for me yesterday. I pretended I didn't care, but I did. She held her hands together. That felt heavy. Ms. Miller nodded. That's your anger brick. And I yelled at my brother this morning. He didn't even do anything wrong. That made me feel bad. Sounds like you packed guilt too. Lara thought more. And I miss my Nana a lot. No one really asks about that anymore. Ms. Miller's smile was soft. That's the puddle of sadness. We all have one, sometimes. Lara wiped her eyes again. But this time, the tears felt different. Not stuck, just released. It felt like someone had lifted the corners of her invisible backpack, just a little. I didn't know I was allowed to talk about these things, Lara said quietly. I thought I had to be strong, or happy, or quiet. Ms. Miller placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Being strong doesn't mean holding everything inside. Sometimes strength is saying, I need help carrying this. They stood a little longer, letting the hallway hum around them. Kids passed by in a blur, but it felt like time had slowed down just for Lara. I think I was also excited about my art project, she added suddenly. But I didn't get to show it. That made me disappointed. Ms. Miller smiled. That's another item. Even good feelings take up space if we don't give them a home. Lara chuckled softly. My backpack is full of weird things. We all have strange stuff in ours, Ms. Miller said. The trick is knowing when to open it and let someone peek inside. Ms. Miller offered her hand. Lara took it, feeling taller, not because she grew, but because she felt a bit lighter. Remember this, Lara, Ms. Miller said as they walked toward the classroom. Your invisible backpack isn't a bad thing. It means you feel. It means you're human. But now you know, she added. You can unzip it anytime. Talk, draw, cry, write. You don't have to carry it alone. Lara looked back toward her cubby, then at the classroom window where the sun had started peeking through. She imagined her backpack again, but this time it had a zipper, some pockets, and maybe even a tiny light inside. Maybe it wasn't something to hide. Maybe it was something to understand. That night at home, Lara didn't rush through dinner or pretend she was fine. When her mom asked how her day was, she paused, then told the truth. She talked about the fall, the feelings, Ms. Miller, and even the invisible backpack. Her mom listened with her full heart, and the more Lara shared, the less heavy she felt. Before bed, Lara drew a picture. A backpack filled with tiny shapes, bricks, feathers, marbles, puddles, sparkles. On the front, she wrote, "This belongs to Lara. It's okay to open." She smiled and placed it on her bedside table, because tomorrow might be heavy too. But now, Lara knew she could carry it, one feeling at a time. And that was the story of Lara and the invisible backpack. A story about the feelings we carry, and the people who help us unpack them. The end. Did you enjoy the story? If you did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Bear Maple, and share Lara's story with a friend who might need it too. Because everyone carries something, and sometimes, a story is the first step to feeling a little lighter. Thanks for being here. See you again next time, here, in Bear Maple.